Askreddit. Am I the a-hole for winning a cosplay contest with the help of fake boobs? I'm a 22-year-old female cosplayer. I dress up for fun as anime characters and I've been doing it for 5 years now. I'm not a pro or anything, but I've learned to sew, make foam armor, that sort of stuff. I'm sort of competent at it right now. A local anime convention near my hometown was having a cosplay contest. All you had to do was have your pic taken during the event and sent before their deadline, and people would vote on them on Facebook. It was sort of informal, and the prize was only a few gift cards, so it wasn't really a big deal. I don't have much of an online presence, so I didn't think that I would have a chance. But I decided to give it a shot anyway, since I've been building a certain armor for a while, and I thought it looked good. Without getting into the details, it's a warrior that happens to have an ample cleavage window. Yeah, I know, but I still love her. After voting had started, I was surprised at the positive feedback I was receiving. Some comments said I looked fierce, my wig was fantastic, my armor looked real, etc. A few of the comments also pointed out how I was really doing the character justice because of the size of my breasts. Some more crudely worded than others. I left a like on all the replies since any praise was good. The only issue is, I'm flat as a board. Underneath my armor, I was wearing what is quite literally a breastplate made out of silicone that gives me, in the words of a friend, some serious boobage. The armor had a neck piece and shoulder pads, so the seams were perfectly hidden. Since the character's cleavage is sorta diamond-shaped, there's even underboob on display, so it doesn't look like I'm just padding out a bra. It looks like the real deal. A week goes by and I get a notification on Facebook. Apparently I won the contest. I was ecstatic. It was the first time my work had been recognized like that. I messaged some friends. They were all happy for me. I was reading the comments and one of them stuck out, saying he wasn't surprised I had won considering my body. So I decided to be snarky and reply with, well, if all that's needed to win a contest are boobs, here's where I bought mine, and linked the silicone breasts I was using. And apparently that was a mistake, since I got a few rude comments on that reply, some saying I was fooling people, some a bit more nasty saying I was just using a fake body just to get ahead of real cosplayers. A few people even left mean comments on my Facebook and Instagram for that. I took a break from social media because they were being a pain in the ass. I told friends about what happened, and some of them said I might have been the a-hole for being snarky like that, and I should have just accepted the prize and moved on. But I feel like the situation has escalated way too far. It even soured my mood towards that specific cosplay, even though it's probably my best work so far. Am I the a-hole? Update. Thank you all very much for all the love. I wasn't expecting this to blow up like this, but I'm glad to know I was snarky but a bit justified. Knowing there are more people out there who bust their ass in complex costumes does make me feel better about my boobage. Silicone, not silicon. My bad on that. English isn't my first language. For those curious, my chest piece comes from Wiru, aka Amino Kitaro. He detailed the process of making Mia Shiranui's boobs on his Patreon, and I just followed his tutorials since I wanted something custom for my skin tone and size. Look him up. His breasts look better than real ones, really. I should have written got instead of bought in the main post. Sorry. Am I the a-hole for refusing to tip a mentally handicapped waitress? My husband and I have been disagreeing about this for a few weeks now. He suggests we post it on here and see what Reddit thinks. I kind of like that. My husband and I go to the local Waffle House about twice a month, and know most of the waitresses and cooks. In the past, and still as far as I know, we have a good rapport with all of them. I almost always tip 40% or more, and I know we can afford it, and we always get excellent service. Recently, however, Waffle House hired a new waitress who clearly has a mental disability. Now this doesn't bother us, so we have no problem with her taking our order. However, the problem began when she started telling my husband that he was very good looking, and can you take me on a date? To be honest, it didn't really bother me the first few times she said it, but she just wouldn't let it go. When it was time to get out glasses refilled, she refilled his, but shot me a dirty look when I asked for a refill as well. This kind of behavior went on throughout the course of the meal. When the meal was over and my husband asked how much to tip in a $32.44 ticket, I told him to leave the change, so 56 cents. He didn't say anything at the time, but later when we got home, he told me that it bothered him that I didn't tip her well, and that she only acted that way because of her disability. My argument is, if she can work there, she can do so without harassing clients, so am I the a-hole? Wow, I really did not go into this expecting to think that this woman was not the a-hole, but reading through it, I don't think she did anything wrong. I don't know. What do you guys think? Am I the a-hole for going to the gym during women's hour? I recently moved into this particular apartment complex because it's a lot closer to my work and it has a pretty spectacular gym. The gym fees are built into my monthly rent payment, about $40, and is optional. I elected to pay because I'm an avid gym goer. I've been going to the gym at my usual time of around 6:30ish, and at first I was oblivious to the fact that during the times that I go, it's all women, who usually give me pretty dirty looks, but I thought nothing of it. I made a friend in my complex, and when she saw me at the gym, she was super surprised to see me there. Unbeknownst to me, there is a women's hour every weekday from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Now look, I know that us dudes can be big creeps and it can be annoying for women to try and get off a workout in peace. But I think that 3 hours is too far excessive. I ended up leaving that day to keep the peace though. These times make it incompatible for me to go to the gym, which opens at 6 a.m. through midnight. I work 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m., and I usually come home at around 5:30ish, depending on traffic. Usually I like to chill for about half an hour after getting home to decompress, and I either make food or for later or just browse the Twitter or Reddit. Now I know that I could wake up early to go, but I'm going to be real honest and say that I'd rather not do that because I like my sleep. What makes it even worse is that the nearest gym is a 40-minute drive away, which is no bueno for me. So I thought about it and escalated this matter to the strata manager. And I asked her about the women's hour because I was not informed of this prior to signing my lease. Apparently, it's not a policy instituted by the strata, but the tenants, who are mostly women, agreed upon this policy as a community, and the strata neither endorses nor discourages this policy. I was prepared to give up and make do with the other gym, but first I inquired about getting my monthly gym fee waived. If I won't be going there, strata manager said that she can't do that until my lease is up for renewal in a year. So I said, F that. I won't be paying for a service that I won't use. So I go to the gym. I make sure to go out of my way not to look at or talk to any of the women there because I want to leave them alone, and vice versa. I just work out and keep my head down. Edit. Wow, I woke up and didn't expect to see this blow up. Just to answer a few questions, some people have asked why the nearest gym is so far away. This is because I live in a town that's a satellite town of a major metro area. Think town I don't know how to pronounce and town I'm not going to try and pronounce, or something like that. Some have also asked why I don't talk to the women in there. That's because I agree with the women's hour in the sense that I do believe they need their own time to work out. I just heavily disagree with the manner in which they're doing it. So I'm not going to the gym to talk to anybody, I'm just going to work out. I really make an effort and go above and beyond to not appear as if I'm creeping on these women. Like I said, I just go and keep my head down. I suppose I could try and get the policy changed, but again, the overwhelming majority of tenants are women. It was the strategy manager who told me this. So I would imagine I'd have a hard time getting my voice heard. You know what? Now I know how women feel like when they're in a job or something in which they're overwhelmingly the minority in gender. It can kind of suck. Am I the a-hole for wanting my husband to start paying more for housing? Hi all. For reference, I am a 29-year-old female and my husband is a 30-year-old male. We've been together since I was 20 and got married when I was 26. When we moved in together when I was 25. We were splitting our rent evenly. I was making $65,000 a year and he was making $80,000. We lived in a large US city. It didn't really make a huge difference in my budget versus his to split the rent 50-50 for $2,600 a month. However, things have changed. I got pregnant a few months ago and we got married, which we're so happy about and wanted. I didn't want to not work, but I wanted to be home with our baby, so I found a full-time remote job in my field of work. The downside is I took a cut to my salary from $65,000 to $50,000. We continued to split the rent in our apartment. My husband, between being 26 and 30, has received a number of raises and has switched his job. He is now a senior business analyst making roughly $195,000 a year. Since we were having a child, we were going to need a bigger apartment. We found a 3-bedroom for $4,000 per month. He still wanted to split the rent evenly despite my protests, and despite me wanting to try to find a smaller apartment for less. In the end, I sort of let myself get walked over because he really is such a smooth talker and I do love him. Anyway, flash forward 2.5 years, our rent has increased to $4,400. My take-home pay monthly after taxes is roughly $3,600. I'm paying $2,200 monthly in rent. I am also taking care of our baby and our home, doing chores and cooking daily. My husband works from 8 to 6, but typically doesn't get home until 7. I am burnt out. I barely have enough money per month to do things I enjoy. I feel like I am financially struggling while my husband is living a life of luxury. Yes, he does take me out on dates and on vacation, but he doesn't seem to understand that this is not enough for me. I spoke to him 2 days ago very seriously, and when I asked about trying to split the rent based on our income and pay an equal percentage of our income so that it is more fair than fully equal, his reaction stunned me. He asked me why having $1,600 extra a month wasn't enough for me. I told him I'm not saving anything. He told me I should spend less on extracurricular activities, which makes me laugh, because what extracurricular activities? All I do is work, cook, clean, shop for the house, and raise our child. I told him I am basically working 2 full-time jobs at once and I need help. Then he asked me if I am suggesting he pay me for being a mother, and that stunned me. I really had no response to that. Anyway, he told me that this is the lifestyle we agreed when we moved in together way back when. However, he doesn't seem to understand, or rather doesn't want to understand. Now he is mad with me because he thinks I am being selfish and has been acting cold to me these past few days. I am getting the itch to apologize and take it back like I always do, but I really feel I'm in the right here. Edit. Thank you all for all of the responses. I can honestly say I did not expect to get this feedback. I am honestly overwhelmed and cannot reply to all of you, especially while I'm working, but I wanted to update some things here. I love my husband with all my heart, and it is heartbreaking for me to read these comments and realize that I am being taken advantage of. I need to figure out the best way to approach this issue and solve it before it gets too far. I want to work this out, and the fear of being alone is haunting me. Yes, I did sign a prenup that was overseen by his family attorney. My husband comes from extreme wealth, and I was young and stupid and went with it. Head over heels like my mother always said I was. As for his family, we get along great and they love me. It's very confusing because they are such incredibly generous people and they are family. But they don't know about our financial situation because my husband and I believe that our marriage is private. And I would feel like I was betraying him by telling them. I'm sorry I cannot reply to all of you, but please know I'm reading all of the comments and making of plan of approach with them. Edit number 2. For those talking about the dates and vacations bit that he pays for, I have asked him numerous times to help lighten my financial load instead of going on these trips and dates, and he has refused. He said he can do what he wants with his money, and if he wants to take us on vacation, that is what he will pay for. If I could afford vacation, I would pay. In fact, when we were in a more even financial situation, unmarried, not kids, I paid for almost all of our vacations and dates because I love to treat people, and I can't do that anymore. Edit number 3. I also do not have bad spending habits. I worked my way out of my student loan debt in 2 years after graduating. I saved $60,000 by the time we got married, and I have that all in my retirement, which I am thankful for because I can no longer contribute to it. This has nothing to do with how I spend. I'm actually pretty frugal when it comes to shopping, especially since I prefer to keep things cheap for my budget. Subscribe and like. See you next time, friends.